fan of a team we didn't think would be in the mix of the relegation fight, and that is, of course, West Ham. We've got Richard from South Africa via the London Stadium with us, joining us. Richard, a huge win at the weekend against London rivals Fulham. Going into that game, were you questioning whether David Moyes should see out the rest of this season?
Yeah, for sure, Anita. I think even before the World Cup, West Ham were questioning whether David Moyes was the right man for the job. And to be honest with you, going into the Fulham game, I wasn't filled with a lot of confidence. But we've managed to get a result, and that was the most important thing on the day. We have been consistently under par from game week 1, which has been so frustrating as a West Ham fan. And we've seen clubs in and around us making changes with their managers. We've stuck. Hopefully, it's the right decision come the end of the season.
Richard, what's changed from last season? Because, last season, West Ham were in Europe, they embraced it. They finished 7th, they embraced it, they played the open attacking football. What's your take on what's been different for West Ham this season?
For me, number one, Leroy, is David Moyes has been extremely stubborn with his team selection. He hasn't dropped players that have been woefully under par this season, the likes of Thomas Souček. And number two, he hasn't got the best out of our new signings. We haven't seen the best of Lucas Paqueta. There's definitely some issues with Gianluca Scamacca and David Moyes. I'm not sure what's going on there. So for me, it's those two combined. I just think tactically, David Moyes hasn't made the right decisions at the right times this season, and it's come back to bite us.
Yeah, and what's incredible about West Ham is there's almost two tales happening simultaneously. You're fighting for survival, 6 points above the drop zone, but then in just a few times you're playing in the quarterfinals of the Europa Conference League against Ghent. So how does David Moyes, I guess, prioritise either or both? What would you say should be the game plan for these remaining weeks of the season?
Well, David Moyes has come out and said that staying in the Premier League is the priority, and I think West Ham fans will agree. On the other hand, we haven't won a trophy in many years, and this is probably our best opportunity to win a European trophy in a long time. So he's got to keep us up, whether it's by the skin of our teeth, he's got to do it. And for me, he's got to win the Conference League. Simple as that.
So Richard, you said he's got to do it, but do you believe that he's going to do it? Do you believe West Ham are going to stay in the Premier League this season?
I do, but I really think it's going to come down to the last game week or the second last game week. We really are in a massive scrap. And this is the tightest the bottom of the table has looked in years. It can change game week by game week. Honestly, in my heart, I believe we'll stay up, but it's going to be tight. It's going to be terrible tight.
We can feel the tension that you've got there, Richard. Thank you so much for joining us. All the best with that game in Europe midweek. So, of course...